Racism in America. Drugs in the Black community in the United States. Video number 6. Many believe that illegal drugs first come to the Black community and then go to other communities. Many also believe the Black community has the strongest or most potent drugs. Plus, many think that most of the illegal drugs come into the United States across the Mexican-American border. All of this is wrong. Before we start, this is for people living in the United States. I put this in the front of all my videos that are in English because I want to help people with their student loans. I know many people think, feel, or believe that they will never pay off their student loans. Yes, they are right. They are correct. There are over 2 million people over the age of 60 that are still paying off their student loans. There is a federal law that was passed in the 80s that will get rid of all your student loans in 25 years. The link to this video is at the top of this video, in the description below, and will be at the end of this video. This is the University of Chicago Law School. It costs $81,000 a year, or a total of $240,000. This law school is ranked as high as Harvard, Yale, and all the other top 5 law schools in the nation. This is one of the top law schools in the country. This is where federal judges are created, where the people who make the laws are created. This is where my brother graduated from law school in the 80s. Now let me show you the campus. The University of Chicago has dormitories for its law students. My brother told me that during finals week, there would be so much marijuana or pot smoke in the halls of the dormitories that you could get a contact high. I heard the same thing from one of my friends who went to Yale Law School. President Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama all said they had smoked pot or marijuana, and they all went to the top universities in the nation. Thus, smoking pot or marijuana was common at the top schools in the country. In fact, I do not know a university where smoking pot or marijuana was not common. During these times, marijuana was illegal. Now, today, in the United States, marijuana is both legal and illegal. I will make another video talking about how it can be both legal and illegal. I think that will be video number 21 called Marijuana, Pot, Smoke, Weed, Mary Jane in the United States. My brother told me that the white students get the marijuana shipped in from states like Alabama and Louisiana through the mail and UPS. Thus, not through the Mexican-American border. Because of our laws, the United States mail system is probably the biggest drug delivery service in the world. If the drugs are coming into the United States from another country, then the police can check the package. However, if the package is shipped from one part of the United States to another part of the United States, then our laws make it very hard for the police to check the package for drugs. I had a friend who was white, and her father's job was to fill the trunk of this car up with cocaine, and every 2 weeks, he would drive this drug from Louisiana to Minnesota. He did this for over 20 years. When he drove the drugs, he always made the same stops, ate at the same restaurants, and stayed at the same hotels. Thus, everyone thought he was just a regular traveling salesman, so the police never stopped him. Plus, he was a white male. In the 90s, I knew a man that worked for one of the biggest drug dealers in Chicago. Everyone in the neighborhood knew who he was, so the police also had to know who he was. Yet, he was never arrested. His home was never searched. Anyway, he was only a distributor and not the importer. The importer was a rich white man that lived in the suburbs. From movies and television, people all over the world have been conditioned to think that black people are criminals, drug dealers, carry guns, and are dangerous. Therefore, the police look for black or brown people when it comes to having drugs in your car. Thus, if he was black or brown, then he might have gotten stopped by the police. Because the police saw him every 2 weeks, and since the man did this for over 20 years, the police knew him or knew of him. Since he was white, he never got stopped by the police. When I was in college, I smoked pot or marijuana with some of my black friends. It took us a few joints before we got high. One day, in college, I was done with all of my exams, and I went down the hall to visit other students. They were white guys, and they were from the same hometown. The town they were from was rich or affluence. They were smoking pot, and they asked me if I wanted a hit. I said, Sure, yes, why not? Since I was accustomed to smoking pot with my black friends, I thought one hit would not do much. I sat there for about 10 minutes, then I got up out of my chair, walked to the door, and I still did not feel anything. No change, I felt normal. I opened the door, and I felt normal. I walked out of the dorm room and ran straight into the wall. I do not think you can still see the scar, but I was bleeding a little. I then just sat there with a smile on my face. The guys came out and checked on me, and they all laughed. After this, I mostly smoked pot or marijuana with the white guys. What I learned was that the drugs that come into the black community come from the rich white community. The drug is cut and distributed to the black community from the white community. Thus, the black community gets drugs that are not as strong, not as potent, and not as intense as the drugs in the white community. Back then, in the 70s and 80s, many people in the black community did not have connections to Mexico or South America. Civil rights did not become law until 1964, the year I was born, and it took time for these laws to be implemented. So, there were still towns in the South where it was illegal for a black person to be out at night. Thus, in the 70s, for many black people, it was not easy for us to travel. However, the rich white guys I knew went on family vacations and college weekend trips, skiing in Colorado, scuba diving in the Caribbean, and many other places. This was part of their lifestyle. This was what they were used to. Thus, they had connections in Mexico or South America. These rich white guys would sell the drugs to each other but would not sell you any drugs if they did not know you. In college, I knew a white guy who was from a very rich family. He did some dumb stuff his freshman year, so his father greatly reduced the amount of money he would get. So, he sold cocaine out of his dorm room to his friends so that he could go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and Florida for spring break. Thus, if you were a middle-class to poor white person, you had to go to the black areas and get your drugs off the streets. The police know all of this stuff. Yet, the police arrest the poor black guy on the street selling drugs, and then this is where the police investigation stops. The police never arrest or conduct an investigation on who is bringing in the drugs. Yes, the police do make big drug busts at the border, but you never hear them arresting or investigating who was receiving the large shipment of drugs, or who sent the drugs. The police arrest the little guy, the low-hanging fruit. These kinds of arrests make the police look good in the public eye, and it makes them look like they are doing a good job. In the 90s, when heroin was a problem in the black community, we were all drug addicts. Now that heroin is a problem in the white community, they do not go to jail for 5 to 10 years. Instead, it is now labeled an epidemic, and because of this, they get needle exchanges, drug treatment centers, counseling, and much more. Thank you for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video. For all my foreign viewers, most translation software is not 100% accurate. So, sorry about any mistakes. For a free copy of my music, go to my website. Remember, my music is only background music. Right now, my music is free, but if I have to start paying for extra services, then I might have to set a price for a download. If you want to know how to create your own music, then go to my other YouTube channel and look for the word Garageband. Creating your own music is easy. I did it and I cannot play a musical instrument. If you want to know how to translate a video into other languages, then go to my other YouTube channel and look for the word translate. The links are in the description below.